All right, guys. Our next guest is on the longest winning streak in lightweight division history. He's the Tough 13 winner, a three-time Fight of the Night winner, one-time Knockout of the Night winner, one-time Submission of the Night winner, and a three-time Performance of the Night winner. Probably one of the most exciting fighters in UFC history, and he's currently the number 2 ranked lightweight in the UFC. He's, of course, Tony El Kukui Ferguson, and he joins us back here today. Tony, welcome to the program. What's happening?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me, man. I just got out of the May Mac World Tour. Holy shit, that was a circus, man. It was fucking crazy.
What did you think of it, man? Because I'll tell you, there's a bit of criticism going on online about it. The whole thing just kind of didn't make very much sense. It looked like they were doing a debate sometimes because they had to do these speeches behind, the thing, and it wasn't really what fans were expecting. What was it like being there, and what was your thoughts on this first leg of the tour?
Well, it wasn't a UFC press conference, that's for sure. You have the media asking you questions. They have intelligent questions. You're going to get good responses from it. What it was like a panel. Dana introduced Conor. It was dope. I mean, the whole stadium was going crazy for Conor. It was absolutely nuts. And then you had Mayweather that walked up, and it was kind of I didn't think they were going to boo him that much, but he got booed like crazy. I mean, but he held his own. He stayed quiet, and they both talked. And honestly, it was pretty entertaining, man. I have to say it was entertaining.
There was some. I think one of the most entertaining parts was, I guess, just how different it was, and seeing Conor McGregor in that kind of atmosphere up there, and seeing, I guess, kind of it being reality. Any big takeaways? I mean, anything that you got to read on from seeing these guys interact and seeing them face off?
I think it got a little real for Conor real quick. He's talking about the gloves and shit, and then Mayweather straight up said, he's like, I don't care if you change the gloves up. That ain't gonna matter. This is different. When we have boxers walk into the MMA ring, into the cage, it's different. They've only been practicing boxing, throwing hands. They don't practice takedown defenses, submission defenses. This is completely different. Conor is not a boxer. He's a striker, and he's a mixed martial arts striker. So he's going to have his hands full. And what I saw him get a little shaken up a little bit after he was hearing all the numbers that Mayweather was saying, like how many victories and how long he's been holding champ. I mean, boxing is a completely different animal. You're talking the difference between jaguars and sharks. I'm the hammerhead in the lightweight division, and you have Conor wanting to go and box. So I appreciate that an athlete wants to go and do it. I commend him for that. But this is boxing. You have to have footwork. You have to have head movement, and you got to completely understand the game. And the art of boxing is hit and not get hit. We've seen Conor's chin get tested time and time again with the fight versus Nate Diaz with the 4-ounce gloves. Now, with 4-ounce gloves, you take one hit and you go down, and that's it. In boxing, you got a 10 count. That means if you get rocked, you're actually going to have to get back up. And if you don't have that willpower, you can't tap out in this sport. So that's how I see it played out, man. He's going to have to get back to the drawing board. And I told him in an interview, I did it on Fox Sports Live, he's going to have to hit the bags. He's going to have to hit the shit out of the bags to get his conditioning up, because boxing, like I said, is a completely different animal. You have, 5 rounds in UFC. That's 25, 30 minutes. But you can pace yourself in those 5-minute rounds. These 3-minute rounds are no joke, especially if you start to punch yourself out. He's calling for a 4-round knockout. So hopefully he doesn't punch himself out and then get knocked out in the later rounds. Boxing is a big mental sport, same as UFC, but that's why I've always taken my approach, is the boxing mentality in the UFC.
And it almost sounds like Tony Ferguson is maybe going for the Conor McGregor in this fight. If Conor McGregor wins here, how do you think it affects MMA? And do you think there's a positive there? Are you actually rooting for Conor McGregor to win this fight?
Fuck no. No way. I'm rooting for Mayweather. Mayweather's a boxer. I'm a true boxing fan. And this is kind of, it's a show. This is what it is. It's a show. It's entertaining. They're going to sell, make a lot of money, which is great. But as far as boxing goes, I'm a true boxing fan. I'm interested in a lot of more things. Like, I'm interested in the Triple G fight and the Canelo fight, especially with the Mayweather-McGregor fight. There's a lot of boxing going on. And so what I like about it is the competition aspect of it. The shit talk and the entertainment and all the sideshows is great, but I want to see some really nitty-gritty training. I want to see them actually go out there and put on a damn impressive show. These people are going to pay $100 for the pay-per-view, and I'm saying it's worth it. Because what I'm seeing in here with all this amped up stuff is I'm seeing Conor's chest get puffed up. Mayweather's getting to him because Mayweather's chill. Conor, man, he's out there. He's a loose cannon, which I love, man, because with guys like me, we take that energy and we go back to the drawing board and we fucking use that fire. It's like Conor's got the juice right now, but Mayweather has the sauce. Juice only lasts a long time, like a little bit of time in your fridge, man. But the sauce lasts forever.
Oh, I like that. And now I'm hungry, Tony. Let's talk about you, because we imagine you're there, you're at the press conference, and you have so many fans over in the LA area. What was that like? Did you have fans coming up to you asking, why isn't it Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor? And did Dana White know you were there? Were you sort of a guest of the UFC, or did you just sort of rock up on your own, just wanting to check out the action?
No, Fox Sports hooked it up, and they wanted me out there. Can we get a real analyst on here? Can we get a real journalist? I wore the journalist badge for a second, which was nice. I just got done with practice. I literally just got done with practice. My limo driver right now, he's picked me up. I was wearing a cut-off T-shirt and slacks.
Wow.
And I was sweating my ass off. Wow. And I had to ask him, I was like, hey, dude, can we go to the gas station and get some refreshments before? So when I showed up to the Mayweather-McGregor press conference, I was in chill mode. I was like, there were people coming up to me asking for interviews or asking me for the. I'm like, hold on, man. I just got here. Give me a second. Let me cool down for a minute. Let me just soak it in, man. Let me just chill out and just enjoy this because, like I said, I'm a fan of the boxing world. And this is one of the first times I've ever been to a press conference that was boxing related. So it's a different side from the UFC, but the fans are amazing. I got bombarded as soon as I walked out, which is cool, and I'm a people's champ, man. I was out there for the people, and they wanted pictures, and they were asking me, who's next? You got Gaethje, you got Khabib, who's he going to beat? You got Alvarez, who's it going to be? Conor? Like, everybody wants to see me get out there and fight. And talent like myself, I hate to call myself like that. I don't like to talk to myself in the third person, but talent like that should not be sitting on the sidelines. We need to book a fight, we need to get it, and we need that interim belt in my hands. No matter
of course.
who it is.
Let's talk about that, because this is the big question. This is what people want to know. Obviously, Justin Gaethje had a big win against Michael Johnson. It was an exciting fight. A lot of people felt like it's one of their favorite fights of the year, but I know you were there. So what did you think of Justin's performance? And what do you think about his style? Because he has a very risky style, and a lot of people don't believe that with that style, he'll be able to make it all the way up to the top of the division.
I was actually at Topgolf when I was watching it. I was in Vegas at Topgolf. And I took my family out. I had a good day with signing for the fans for the UFC fan experience, which is great. So I was like, you know what, I want to go do something fun. So instead of watching the fights, I found myself at Topgolf, but I found myself even watching the fights there. And as our table got up, it was when the first round ended, when Justin was getting rocked.
Yeah.
So as I go and I get to my seat, I start to see the rest of the fight. I mean, I was shanking balls left and right. I couldn't even hit shit straight. I was watching the fight so much. But later on that night, I ended up watching the fight, and I analyzed it, and he does good pressure. I have to say he's got great forward pressure, but he gets hit a lot. I mean, I have a great chin and I get hit, but I roll with the punches. I mean, and a lot of energy is used when you're missing hits. And with Justin, I see him getting frustrated, and I think I can manipulate him inside of the octagon, man, make him my own. And I give him credit for taking on Michael Johnson, but everybody's like, man, Michael Johnson beat you. I'm like, that was fucking like 9 fights ago. I've had 9 straight victories, finishes, and performance bonuses and fights of the night. Everybody's talking about the Landon Venata fight, and I'm like, dude, I felt bad for this kid because I don't want to cut him up like I did Edson Barbosa. Like, I actually have a conscience. I want this kid to go and have a future in mixed martial arts. I don't want to embarrass him. So as you guys saw in the second round, I snapped out of it. My coach was like, hey, man, fucking go in there and do your work.
Right.
I had to snap out of it because I didn't want to hurt the kid. So I went into the second round. Like, boy, didn't even touch me, not one time. So it is what it is. Like, I mean, the close fights, but at the end of the day, it's like, who won? And by how? You got finished. And every single one of my opponents always gets finished. Unless, you know what I mean? They piss me off. And then I make them go the full rounds with me. And then it gets bloody.
Surely, if it was you and Justin Gaethje, there's no doubt somebody's getting finished. But is he a guy that's on your radar? He's obviously made a big splash in his UFC debut. Is he a guy that you're interested in because you're sort of at the top of the division? Do you feel like that's a matchup you'd like to take?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't care who they put in front of me. If it's for the interim belt, I tell them to sign on the dotted line. I mean, that's about plain and simple as it goes. But we want to hype up this Justin Gaethje fight. Anderson Silva took one fight in the UFC, and then they gave him a title shot. So it is possible. If Ali Abdelaziz wants to keep talking shit on Twitter and keep doing this stuff and try and act like a fighter, hey, man, you got 100 clients, and all of your clients are worried about me. You have Team Khabib, and you have Justin Gaethje. I'm waiting for Khabib's bitch ass to get out there and start cutting some weight. I showed him my weight. I've got my weight under control. I walk around at 200 pounds, 205 sometimes. My wife loves me at that weight. But if I can make the weight, you can make the weight. You're just using your weight and going to the hospital as a lame-ass excuse to not get your ass kicked by a Mexican-American fighter that's a fucking phenomenal-ass fighter right now. And I'm on fire. And these guys that want their asses kicked, I'll take Justin. I don't matter. But there goes Khabib's legacy. I'll take that 24-0. Shit, I'll give him his first loss. No problem. Both and Justin Gaethje. I don't even know what his record is. They both all have undefeated records, but that don't mean shit. I fought the gatekeepers. I fought the people that needed to get me to my spots. When I broke my arm, they shot my record all the way back down to, top 60? Bullshit. I've earned my right to be here, and I've earned my right to say you're not on my level because ultimately they aren't on my level. If you can't cut the weight and you skip out on a fight a day before the fight, you're a bitch. If you go out there and you're going to call me a bitch and, say that I'm trying to be like Conor McGregor, fuck that, dude. I'm telling all these fighters out there, be yourself. Be a fresh breath of air and do your own shit. Don't be copying somebody else's style. Don't be jacking that stuff. If you want to call me a bitch, say it to my face. Like I confronted Motown Phenom over at the UFC. I went straight up to him and I looked at him and was like, look, man, there's no fucking cameras here. We can squash this shit right now. We can handle this. He's like, man, it's early. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, fight time ain't no time, bro. Like, we can handle this shit right now.
When was this? Was this before his fight or after his fight? When was this, Tony?
This was at the UFC International Fight Week. He didn't say one fucking word. I was right there in his hometown, right in his front of his face. Stipe Miocic and Tito Ortiz were about to let it go down, man. But we were like, you know what, we got to sign some stuff. Let's be chill. Motown Phenom's eyes twitching like crazy. I'm like, dude, you're a kid. Keep trying to act like everybody else. He sends me a DM message saying, you walk up on my like that again, we're going to really get down. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm too busy with other man. I got higher names on my list. You need to earn that right to start talking shit to me. Go back to school, kid.
Wow, that's crazy. We didn't really even realize that happened. I'm just curious. You mentioned Justin's manager, Ali Abdelaziz. We know you guys have had a bit of back and forth on Twitter. I'm wondering, when exactly did this all start, your rivalry with him, with Ali, the manager, and how exactly did it all begin?
I don't. I have absolutely no beef with him. He's not even worth my time. I think it's funny to go on Twitter beef with him. I think he's just trying to stay relevant. All of his clients that he manages, he manages Ardos Anjos, guy used to be the fighter that hated Khabib, and Khabib and them, I guess, I don't know if they're best friends now. And now he manages Justin Gaethje. I get it. Do your thing, but why are you trying to come at me, bro? You're trying to break my spirit. It ain't gonna happen, bro. My back is too strong for that shit. And he's shook. If he's worried about me so much, that means he's trying to stay relevant for his clients. And maybe I can help him get his Twitter numbers up.
Well, while we're talking about some of his fighters, you mentioned Khabib, and there was some headlines recently when Dana White talked about Conor McGregor potentially wanting to fight Khabib down in Russia. How do you feel when you hear something like that? Because here you are, a guy who was supposed to fight Khabib, and at the end of the day, he was the one who pulled out, and now, they're sort of hyping up maybe Khabib and Conor in Russia. Does that irk you a little bit when you're the guy who sort of has had his career stalled a little bit and, you didn't pull out of that fight?
No, it doesn't irk me at all, man. If they want to do that shit in Russia, have fun with the pull-out merchant. Conor's fucking lying, dude. You don't want to fight a pull-out merchant, then you're going to fight somebody in Russia? You're going to see the exact same thing that I saw. Khabib's going to look at fear, and he's going to be like, I don't want to do this because my legacy's going to go to shit. For me, I'm like, man, let's do this shit. Let's squash it. Let's end it so the fans can get their money's worth. How many times have we tried this? 3 times? Literally 3 times. Fans have bought tickets. They've ordered the pay-per-views. They've done this. The T. Woodley show and the Wonder Boy thing was a shit show. I could have took the Michael Johnson fight, but what they told me was, you don't get your show money. Why? I thought it was show money. You don't get it. But what we'll do is we'll give you a certain amount of money, and you can earn up to that amount, is what they told me. So for one time in my life, I had to fucking say no. Bullshit. I've been a company man since I first started. I've knocked out everybody. I took my loss. I went back to the drawing board. I've had 3 surgeries. I came back, and I got 9 victories in a row, all by finishes pretty much. My fan base is getting better. Maybe I'm not that as Conor McGregor. I don't have an accent. I don't need one because I do all my talking inside that octagon. My accent, I say, is elbows. And, the fans love me. I love the fans. And what I've got from all of this is my fans will buy the pay-per-views, and they will not leave their seat. They are guaranteed a badass fight from a phenomenal fighter, man. And that's how I always do it. I prepare differently, And what I've been doing is training at Black House MMA. I wanted to get myself out there more for you fans. I want to put some more video feed out there. I want to put my personality out there more. If you like me or you hate me, it doesn't matter. You're going to buy that pay-per-view and you're going to watch me either win or lose.
I'm curious, Tony, have you had any conversation with Dana White or the UFC about the time frame as to when they want to have you back? Because like you mentioned, it wasn't really your fault that the fight didn't happen. Khabib's weight didn't work out. And then they didn't really offer you a great deal to keep that fight with Michael Johnson. How's your relationship with the UFC, and are they trying to help you through this time and trying to find you an opponent?
That's great, man. I love the UFC. Dana, I talked to him at the fight. I told him it was such a badass fight between Whitaker and Yoel Romero. I was sitting right there, dude, like front and center, and I was so amped. I was pissed that the girl fight, fell through. I feel bad for Valentina for that one, man. I mean, she went through the same shit that I did, but the main event ended up saving the rest of the spot that fell off. I mean, you had Whitaker going there in Aussie, and my Australian fan base is huge. I got a lot of love for you guys, man. You guys are fucking badass fans. And the one thing that I liked about it was the kid never quit. He battled through adversity, and that's what I told Dana. I was like, man, it was such a badass fight. And he went in there. I was like, I can't wait to get back in there. And I saw Joe Silva right there. I met Sean Shelby. They know I'm hungry. They know I want that belt. They know I want that interim belt. And I'm not going to stop. If they want to throw me another fight, let's make it for the interim belt. If you want to fight Khabib and Conor out there, that's going to take some time, because after Conor gets his ass kicked by Mayweather, he's going to need some time to recover. So if they're waiting for that fight to go down until, whatever, I'm staying sharp. My skills are getting better, and my conditioning is only getting better, because I don't know how to quit. And I've seen Conor quit. This isn't MMA. That's boxing. But in MMA, though, I can take anybody out in any single way. I'm not scared of any man inside that octagon. We have the same equipment, same mouthpiece, and I don't have quit written on me.
So when speaking to them, Tony, did they say that they want to wait a little bit until they offer you a fight? And ideally, when would you like to be back and fighting again? I know you don't like to take too many breaks. Is there a time frame that you'd like to be back in the octagon?
Well, Abdelaziz always says, wait your 4 months, just lay low. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not laying low. I'm staying busy. I'm going to get my brand out there. I'm making some new friends. I'm out there doing my thing. I'm hustling, man. I had the conversation. I had the pleasure of talking with T. Woodley, and that dude works hard. You know what I mean? I said I want to go up to 170, but, he's a good dude at 170. I don't need to go up there and disturb that. Not right now. My division is a 155-pound division. I've cleaned it out. If they want to throw another person at me, I have no problem with it. But there have been no talks. There have been zero talks, 0 interest. When I said I want to fight, they just kind of look at me kind of like, fuck, man, we don't want you to kind of have the belt. Like, I don't know what the issue is. Do I not fight hard enough? Do I not bleed for you guys? Do I not don't go train? I mean, obviously, I kind of understand it. Nobody wants a champ training out of a garage to beat a fucking guy like Khabib. I get it. But old boy was going to get fucking beat by a guy that trained in his fucking garage. Straight up. This is a Club at Lang Rocky story, man, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon. So my management, they're trying to handle their thing, with this Mayweather-McGregor show, and Dana's busy with that too. But I'm like, hey, man, you're letting talent sit on the sidelines, and, we could sell some tickets and some pay-per-views while you guys do that. So I'm praising UFC and Dana for doing their thing and getting that big money fight, because that's what they do. They promote big fights. But there's a big fight right here that's waiting to happen. Let's push it. Let's get the fans interested in it. Let's put fear back in Khabib and Team Tiramisu back in where they belong, man, back in hiding.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that is the fight that fans have been waiting to see for such a long time. If it came together, it would just be absolutely a huge deal for everyone. I'm just wondering, you mentioned how you're training and you're getting better and better. We spoke to you about how you thought the fight was going to go down 209, but now that you're even sharper and you've got even more skills, how do you think the fight would go down if it does happen in the next few months?
I'll hit him so hard his management feels it. I'll send him back to that corner in pain. And I'll make him go the full 5 rounds with me to test out waters with a hammerhead shark. I'll hit him so hard in his stomach. Same thing I said about Conor. These dudes pissed me off. I don't think I want to make them bloody. I just want to demoralize them. I want to hit them so hard in the stomach and the liver that they piss themselves.
All right, well, for now, I guess the big question is talk to us a little about your training, because we know the awesome training that you're doing. It's very unique. If people follow you on Instagram and Twitter, they'll see you're doing a bunch of cool different drills, and your camp has always been unique. So tell us, what are you doing in the interim? What kind of training are you doing, and what can fans look out for you in the meantime while we wait for a fight?
You know what? I'm stepping up my training. There's a phenomenal facility over at Black House MMA. It's called Fast Twitch. I'm really interested. I've been doing weightlifting like crazy, trying to increase my body mass and lower my weight. It's been very, very tricky. So my unorthodox approach to how I handle my balance and my weight and how I do my strength training, that's interesting, and that's cool. My deadlift is a lot better from the fucking video that Cyborg posted about 4 years ago, by the way. And
you're still getting crap for that. Do you wish people would just forget about that? People like analyzing it.
I mean, it is what it is, but it's dope, man. It's going to just increase my brand, which is dope, man, because obviously when you see mistakes and you get caught on it, what are you going to do? You're going to go back and you're going to fix the mistakes. Not for everybody else, but just for myself, man. I really want to become a certified, coach. Like, seriously, I'm a phenomenal trainer. I train trainers to train me. Ask any of my coaches. I give them the best advice, and I give them the best way to train athletes like me because I'm a handful. And the one thing is if you can train me, you can train any athlete out there. So my approach to this game is simple. I work hard. I keep it creative, and I sweat a lot. I go through probably like 10 T-shirts in a practice. No joke.
Wow.
I mean, literally, that's how I maintain weight. My face is in the bucket puking because it's not because of the shit food I ate. It's pushing myself to that limit the same way I did preparing for Rafael dos Anjos in Mexico City. So the fans, you get interested in all this. I'm going to take it up some more steps. I'm going to be doing some gymnastic type of workouts, increasing my strength and increasing my breakdancing. I'm going to be taking some hip-hop classes so I can get you guys out there to see how much rhythm and blues I got. And I'm going to keep it fresh, man. So I'm a fresh breath of air out there instead of that stale shit.
Wow. Well, I guess Twitter and Instagram, you have to follow Tony at Tony Ferguson XT. Sounds, Tony, from what you're saying, that there's going to be a lot of content, a lot of exciting and interesting stuff. We want to see you back in the octagon,
Absolutely.
man. We want to see you back as soon as possible. So follow Tony on Twitter at Tony Ferguson XT. And as always, Tony, a huge pleasure chatting to you. Always appreciate it.
Time, good on you, man. Thank you.